For 2 whole decades, Germany's renewable energy pioneers had a golden ticket, a guarantee. If you build a green power plant, the government will make sure you get paid a fair price. And you know what? It sparked a revolution. But that 20-year promise, it's now running out for thousands of these plants, pushing them right to the edge of a financial cliff.
So that's the big question, isn't it? It's the one facing thousands of farmers and entrepreneurs who bet big on green energy. And suddenly, it's a very simple and very urgent question. Can they even survive? Or is this first big green wave in Germany just gonna switch off?
To really get what's going on here, we have to look back at where it all started, with a revolutionary law that had a ticking clock built right into it.
Okay, so it all kicked off back in the year 2000 with the Renewable Energy Sources Act, or the EEG. And this thing was a total game changer. It offered fixed, pretty generous prices for a full 20 years. Then, in 2004, some changes supercharged the whole program, leading to this construction frenzy that peaked around 2011. The problem is, back then, nobody was really thinking about what would happen 20 years down the road. Well, here we are. The 20 years are up, and now those first pioneers are staring down a brand new, very uncertain world.
And the scale of this challenge, it's massive. We're talking about roughly 10,000 biogas plants just on their own, spread all across Germany. A full quarter of them are packed into Bavaria, and they're a critical part of the local energy and heating supply. And now, their future is totally up in the air.
So let's start with these biogas operators. These plants, a lot of them run by farmers, were the dependable workhorses of the early energy transition, churning out power 24/7. But now, they find themselves at a major crossroads.
Without that government safety net, these entrepreneurs have to make a really tough strategic choice. They've got about 4 possible paths they can take to try and stay afloat.
So this is the big dilemma. They can try to chase another 10 years of security by entering these super competitive auctions for more subsidies. Or they can make huge investments to tap into totally new markets, like selling purified gas or setting up local heating networks. And then there's the final option, the biggest gamble of all, selling their power directly on the open market, where you could make a fortune one day and lose your shirt the next.
So, you're probably wondering, how hard is it to win one of those follow-up subsidies? Well, in a recent auction, a staggering 96% of the applicants were rejected. Just 4% managed to secure a contract. That means for the vast majority of these plants, the safest path is basically a dead end.
Now, if you think the biogas guys have it tough, the problem for the early solar pioneers is even more complex. It's not just about the money. They're literally running up against the laws of physics.
Here's the paradox for you. On a perfectly sunny day, Germany's solar farms can actually produce too much power. The grid just can't handle that massive surge all at once, especially in places where the network hasn't been upgraded. And the result? Grid operators have to remotely shut down perfectly good, productive solar plants. It's called curtailment. So you've got the power, but you're not even allowed to sell it.
When you do sell power during these sunny gluts, things get, well, they get truly bizarre. On July 2nd, 2023, the market price actually went negative. That means producers had to pay €500 just to get rid of 1 megawatt hour. Can you believe that? You were literally paying someone to take your product off your hands.
But then, look at the flip side. When demand is high and supply is low, the price can skyrocket to the legal maximum. That's nearly €10,000 per megawatt hour. That's almost €10 for a single kilowatt hour. This extreme volatility, from deeply negative to wildly positive, that's what defines this new market. It's a high-wire act with absolutely no safety net.
So how on earth do you survive, let alone thrive, in a market this wild? The answer is the key to the entire future of renewable energy: storage. It's all about having the ability to save that super cheap, abundant power from sunny afternoons and then sell it in the evening when prices are through the roof.
Broadly speaking, storage comes in 2 flavors. You've got your short-term storage, which is dominated by lithium-ion batteries. These are perfect for soaking up power for a few hours and then releasing it overnight. And then you have long-term storage, with technologies like redox flow batteries and hydrogen,
which are designed to hold on to that energy for days, weeks, or even across entire seasons.
Let's zoom in on one of those long-term technologies, the redox flow battery. See, unlike a regular solid battery, it stores energy in a liquid that's held in separate external tanks. And that simple little difference, it gives it a kind of secret superpower.
The genius here is that power is separated from capacity. Your power output comes from a central component called the stack, but your energy storage, how much you can hold, is just determined by the size of your liquid tanks. So if you need more capacity, you just get a bigger tank. It makes scaling up way cheaper and incredibly flexible.
Now, the main drawback so far has always been cost. But a Munich-based company called WeStorage is working on a major breakthrough, an iron salt-based redox flow battery. They think they can get the cost down to around €100 per kilowatt hour by 2026. And if they pull that off, it could be an absolute game changer for affordable, large-scale energy storage.
And this new reality leads to some incredible innovations. Check this out. A company called Riverian has a system that basically plays the market. When electricity is cheap or even negatively priced, it uses that power to make valuable hydrogen. But when electricity prices spike, it flips the switch and sells high-priced power from biogas. It's this kind of flexible, super efficient thinking that lets operators thrive on that volatility, with a system that can pay for itself in just a few years.
So what we're really watching here is a fundamental shift. Germany's energy pioneers are moving out of a world of guaranteed, stable paychecks and into a complex, high-risk, high-reward market that's all about technology and strategy.
You know, as energy expert Professor Wolfgang Wieser puts it, there's no single magic bullet here. The path forward isn't some instruction manual, it's a whole series of strategic choices about technology, about investment, and about risk. Every single operator has to figure out their own way through this.
The end of Germany's first green subsidies isn't just an economic challenge, it's a test. It forces us all to ask a much bigger question. After you've kickstarted a revolution with government support, what does it really take to build a truly sustainable energy market? One that can actually stand on its own 2 feet.